Good morning. Welcome to Pemberley Farm. Well, today we're going to make blueberry buckle. And blueberry buckle is it's kind of like a coffee cake. You make a batter, but you also make a topping that goes, you put some batter in the thing, you'll see, then you put some of the topping, then you put the batter again, and then you put more topping. And so it has a crispy, the topping is kind of crispy because it's sugary. So that's what we're making today, blueberry buckle. And we're glad that you've joined us. And before we get started, I'd like to say, please don't forget to like our videos and subscribe if you haven't already, and share. When you share our videos, it helps our channel to grow. Also, we are on Facebook. We are Pemberley Farm, and on Instagram, we're Pemberley Farm 92. So take a look at everything. And also, we are in the process. We've already got our web page up and running, doing a lot of work on it, but you can still go there and see some things that we've done recently. If you go to our events page on our web page, you'll see some classes and things that we've got coming up. So don't forget to go there and look as well. All right, so now let's get back to blueberry buckle. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the topping. And so what I need for that is 2 cups of sugar. We have here 2/3 cup of flour. I'm going to stir that together a little bit. Teaspoon of cinnamon. Get all that mixed in. Just kind of mix it up before I put the butter in there, so that we don't have any hot spots of cinnamon, because if you've ever had a hot spot of cinnamon in a loaf of bread or something you've made, that's not fun. So, and even though I like cinnamon, it's not hard to overdo it. Alright, so we're putting our soft butter in here. And we're going to just stir it around and mix it all in. This is kind of like making a pie crust from scratch. Now, in the end, it's different, but it is a similar thing as to make a pie crust from scratch. So, we'll go away, and when I get this completely blended in together, then we'll come back and start on the next phase, which will be the batter itself. But you see, we're blending. It'll take a few minutes. Okay, we're all mixed up. Here we go. You see, it's just real crumbly. And so that's what we want. And what we're going to do is set it aside, and we're going to start on our batter. All right, so our batter is 4 cups of flour. This makes quite a bit. The recipe says put it in a 9x13 pan plus an 8x8. But we're going to put it in a 9x13 that stays here. And then we're going to put it in one of these little things. When I make it to sell, or when I make cinnamon rolls to sell, we put it in these, and they have a clear lid on them, and give it to my son. So anyway, he'll be happy about that. So 4 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. That's what both of those things are in here. Okay. And so we're going to kind of mix that up. Just to get it all blended together. Again, you don't want, one section to have not enough of something, and it's, if you've got little balls or something here. So just get it blended together good. Alright, so now we're going to put all of our liquid in it. Let me get a spoon. I didn't get the spoon. Alright, so we've got our liquid, and we have a 1/2 cup of shortening. I just used cooking oil, and a 1.5 cups of milk. So I'm going to put that in there. Okay, we've got 2 eggs, and you know me by now, I'm going to break them up. I'm not scrambling them like, you know, fluffy scrambling them. I'm just breaking them up. Okay, so I've done that. I'm going to mix all that together, and then we're going to put 4 cups of blueberries in there. All right, but it's a little bit thick, and that happens sometimes. So I'm going to add a little more milk. I know what the recipe says, but if it's too very thick, then it's dry when you do it. And now if you're eating it with ice cream or something, or putting sour cream over it, or half and half or something like that, you know, that's fine. But I just don't like it real dry. So I'll just tell you that the recipe, exactly as it is a little dry. All right, so I'm going to add the blueberries in. Okay. All right. Just kind of fold them over into it. And see, it's much easier now to stir, because even though it's still pretty thick, it's not just, I mean, that was almost like a bread dough, a wet bread dough. I may add just a hair more. Because you just don't want it to be too dry. Listen, you know, about recipes, here's the thing. If I try a new recipe, I'll do it one time by the recipe. And then after that, I hardly ever follow the recipe exactly. I use it as a guide, maybe. And then if it needs more of this or less of that or whatever, then I just kind of tweak it to what we like. You know, so that's what we do. All right, so now we're going to put it in our pans. A little bit, just a little bit in our pans. In the bottom of the pan. Lots of blueberries in this recipe. If you don't want this many blueberries, or if you wanted to try cherries or whatever, you could. I've never made it with anything but blueberries. Alright, so I've lined the bottom of my pan with the dough. And so now I'm just using my hands, and I'm going to sprinkle the topping over that, because that's going to be kind of a crispy center is what it's going to be. Okay, so then I'm going to come back and put some more. See how thick it is? It makes it hard to spread sometimes. But you know what? Even though this part is sometimes aggravating, it is a good recipe, and it's really good. My family really likes it. And like I said, it's like a coffee cake. And it's really good. So, that's what we're doing. Alright, so we've got our top on. So now we're going to put some more of the topping. And when it cooks, when it rises and cooks, it just kind of busts out of that topping, and you see the blueberries. And so they're covered right now. Okay, both our pans are ready to go in the oven. Here we go. Both pans ready to go in the oven. You cook it at 350 degrees for 40 to 50 minutes, you know, depending on your oven, depending on how thick, how big a pan you put it in, all of those kinds of things. So 40 to 50 minutes until it's done. Okay, they're done. You can see how the blueberries just kind of bust through. kind of a crusty top. You really ought to try it. I think you'd like it. Just the only suggestion I have is make sure you don't let it stay too very dry. But I think you'll enjoy it, and I thank you for coming along with us at Pemberley Farm and watching what we're doing and watching us grow. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You have a very blessed day from Pemberley Farm.
Yeah!